Remember the Saints Row reboot? The game that was gonna shock the world with how great it is. Well, that didn't happen. What a saga this has been. Saints Row Reboot is probably one of the biggest gaming failures of the year. It's a tragic story because Saints Row was a pretty good game. It was a fun game, and it did do its part to separate itself from Grand Theft Auto because it is a Grand Theft Auto clone. But it did itself a favor by turning itself almost into a parody of Saints Row. There was a lot of ridiculous stuff in it. It was fun. It was a fun series. Nothing really that was going to blow you away and being different, but it was fun. It was funny. And they decided we're going to reboot it, and we're going to make the game about hipsters and repaying college debt. And if you don't like it, F you. Because remember, they came out and attacked fans on more than one occasion. The game actually ended up coming out, and the sales dropped big time. After 1 week, they dropped 80%. The game was on sale literally like a week and a half after it came out. It's bad. You had the CEO come out and make comments. He was disappointed. Talked about how the game polarized the fan base, and it did. That's not a good way to relaunch a series. Not a good way to relaunch a series. Did a video on this when this came out because it was crazy to see the CEO actually admit the game polarized the fan base, which it did, thanks in no part to the social media team behind Saints Row who decided they were going to go ahead and go after fans. It was not a successful game. Needed to sell 2 million units just to break even. And I think it probably did do that, but they had higher expectations for this game. They don't want to just break even. That's not what you do in business. It's really a bad sign for the game. Not to mention, not only was the game polarizing, when they released it, it was a broken pile of shit, which you can see if you take a minute and go over to Metacritic and look at the user scores. You see it right here. Here's the PlayStation 5 score, 2.9 for users. Here's the PC score, 2.5 for users. Here's the PlayStation 4 score, 2.3 for users. Here's the Xbox One score, even worse, 1.5 for users. The highest one is for the Xbox Series X at 3.0. Still nothing to brag about, for sure. Critics didn't like it that much either, 65%, worth pointing out. Some people did give it a high review here and there, which is funny to me considering how broken the damn game is. Why would you give it an 85 knowing that it's a buggy mess? Well, what's the point of talking about this? Well, I'm glad you asked. Volition is being shut down and rolled into Gearbox. The game did so badly that they're rolling the studio in to Gearbox, which means they're shutting down Volition. It closed the studio down. It was so bad. What is that you say? What is that? Get woke, go broke? That's exactly what happened. This is disastrous. So they're actually closing that studio and rolling it over to Gearbox. That's what everyone's reporting. It's another one from Push Square. Saints Row team will be folded into Gearbox as game reception disappoints. Well, I think everyone was trying to tell you that. Everybody was literally trying to tell you that the game was going to be a failure. What a stupid decision this was. They make custom hipster, the face of the game. They talk about how the game needs to get rid of its edgy past. Do you remember that? When they said, Saints Row needs to evolve. It needs to the edgy jokes that it told back in the day, those got to go. You know, the edgy jokes the series was built on after the second one. Now we need to get rid of those. We need to get rid of those. We need to be a more evolved, friendly, sensitive Saints Row. Nobody wanted it. Whoever decided they were going to make a more sensitive, politically correct Saints Row should be immediately fired. Should have been fired the moment they suggested that. Oh, really? Is that what you think? Bye. Because once these people infest your company, it's over. And you see it right here. Let's take a look at the actual story here. Volition will become part of Gearbox after disappointing reception to Saints Row. Gearbox has all the tools to create future success at Volition, Embracer's CEO says. In a statement released alongside its second quarter earnings results, Embracer CEO Lars Wingfors explained that Volition will be switching operative groups. The reception of Saints Row did not meet the full expectations and left the fan base partially polarized, he said. The game development studio Volition has been working hard to improve the player experience. While the game disappointed critically, he said financially Saints Row has performed in line with management expectations in the quarter. Oh yeah? Then why are you folding the group? Meeting expectations, I think, is a way to save face. They had higher expectations for this game. And let me tell you something. There was nothing that released when this game came out. I think they know that. When this game came out, there were no other releases. I mean, they had a window to themselves. This game should have been massive. Because remember, it was originally supposed to come out when Elden Ring came out. And they said, oh, hell no. And they moved it. I forget when it came out. I think it was June, July when it came out. There was nothing in that release window. They had it to themselves for a while, actually, weeks. So the main people that bought this game were starving gamers. Gamers that wanted a AAA game bad. That's who bought it. And then, of course, the hardcore Saints Row fans also bought it. And were very disappointed. So I have no doubt that it did sell a little bit, but apparently it wasn't enough. And they recognize that the damage has been done. And also low expectations, let's put it that way, in line with their lowered expectations. Going forward, Volition will transition to become part of Gearbox, which has all the tools, including an experienced management team in the U.S. to create future success. This is the first internal group transfer where we transfer a major studio between operative groups, but it is not necessarily the last. The decision coincides with the release of the first major update for Saints Row, which went live on Wednesday. It contains over 200 improvements with a particular focus on stability and co-op gameplay issues. According to Volition, this major update is just the start of ongoing support. And then there's a callback to what we already talked about in September, or what they said in September, where they acknowledged that the game was polarizing to the fan base and that they were a little disappointed in the sales. Because they were expecting, they knew what they were doing. There's a reason that they moved it to that window when nothing else was coming out. Because they thought the game would sell like hotcakes, and it didn't. It didn't. It was a failure. I don't care what they say about meeting expectations. What kind of expectations were those? How lowered were they when you saw how bad things were going for the game? Well, we'll break even. That's not a way a business is ran, and that's why they're admitting defeat here by rolling this studio into Gearbox. Now, I would suggest Gearbox pick and choose who they roll in. You don't want to bring cancer into a group that's already an already big established studio. So what you want to do is get all the people that decided to go in this woke direction, get them the hell out. Take that cancer out, then roll them in. Then maybe you can get back to what Saints Row is. Edgy, humor. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please check out my Rumble and my locals. Links in the description. Also, comment. Let me know what you think about this. Also, like and share the video. Subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.